Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, March 5th. It is 6:22 right now. We got market opening up shortly in about 8 minutes. So get a few moments for market here to pick up, and then we'll get started shortly with our analysis. The ATR is actually pretty high right now. It's at 17 ATR. I just realized. So we'll see how the volatility is today. I don't think there's any news aside from aside from um from the 5:30 news this morning. So we'll see in a few. So let's see. Yeah, so we have the 5:30 news, which was initial jobless claims. Basically jobs data. We had some jobs data over here at 5:30. It didn't really push price too much in a specific direction, but it did kind of, just increase the volatility a bit. So looking at this over here, we have the 5:30 candle price came down. The overall bias right now is kind of bearish, I think. So let me go over here and just put that up real quick. Yeah, so the overall trend here on the lower time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. High time frames over here as well, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, everything is below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. So with that being the case, short-term, long-term trend is bearish. The fundamentals for today, let me see if I can pull them up real quick. All right, so the fundamentals for today, let's see what I got here. The fundamentals are, I think they're a little mixed. Yeah, so they're a little mixed. I mean, a lot of this stuff is going to be based on like the war updates that happened today. But it's a mid bullish tilt, so we'll see this here. Oh, we'll just put like bullish neutral in a sense. That's really what it is. But yeah, we'll see what happens here in a few. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Looks like people are still making their way in. Today is Thursday, March 5th. It is 6:25 right now. If you guys are looking to take the breakout for today, we'll know the direction in a few. Not yet, but in a few we'll know. If you guys are looking to take the algo entries, so Justice asked this question in the chat this morning. He was asking if like there was any updates with the algo entries. What I found, guys, is that the algo entries, it's kind of better to stay uh with a specific set of entries for an entire week. Because the problem is if you keep changing your entries like day to day, it's not going to make a huge difference, right? Because there's like one trade is not going to make or break an entry. Like you can lose a trade one day, you can win the next day. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm probably, because yesterday was such a good day, I didn't change the stats from yesterday. If you guys saw it on the, let's see. So let me see if I could open another one. Yeah, if you guys looked at the algo entries from yesterday, they were really good. And I didn't change them. I've been keeping the same ones from like what I pulled on Sunday. So yesterday they were pretty solid. It was like it was a 6 hour day actually for the algo entries. So what I've identified is it's better to just kind of stick with what you've got for like the week out, because if you keep changing so much, like you might miss a good entry if you like misidentify a certain entry, because some of these are gonna be really close. Like some of them are at like 60% or whatever may be, and then you might have one loss, and then the next day it wins because it bounces back from that loss. But you can see over here it was a 6 hour day on a Wednesday, and this is the one for today. So I think what I'm gonna do is on Sunday I'll just identify. I might have to like widen out the parameters a little bit, or maybe not. I'll just keep them as is, and then and then you just keep following them for the week. So they'll just really get updated on a weekly basis. And if they need to be changed moving forward, I'll make the changes. But for right now, from what I see, it's better to just keep them as is, so there's not too many fluctuations with um, trade opportunities. So I'm gonna go over here real quick. I'm gonna mark up the entries. So like 6:30, 6:39. And it just saves me a lot of work too from having to do this by hand every day because there's not really much of a change. There might be like one or two entries that might change that may swap out, but for the most part, um, a lot of them are usually like pretty much exactly the same. Right. So again, like I said before, guys, I'm still gonna use these algo entries. I can only use these for like the profit counts though, because the 1 minute is just too difficult to trade with the hedge clients because I'm trading so much volume. We're slowly transitioning everyone from NinjaTrader to StoneX. So once everyone's transferred over, I can go back to taking the algo entries. But as of now, I got to stick to my daily entries because I have to use limit orders for my entries. So, all right, guys, let's see who's here so far. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Lila. Morning, Nikki. Morning, Maria. Morning, Rev. Morning, Masish. Morning, Karen. Morning, Ben. Morning, everybody. Looks like everybody's here for the most part. Yeah, we got market opening up shortly in about 2 minutes. So if you guys are looking to take the breakout for today, the breakout looks like it's going to be a buy. Um, as you move forward, I'm gonna go ahead and just mark up some structure over here. I mean, this thing's been dumping for a while, so we have a lot of liquidity sitting up top. So it's kind of like no surprise here that, be waiting for price to kind of push through a little bit. But we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna mark up some structure here as price, obviously keeps moving along. You'll see that sometimes I draw structure at the body, sometimes I draw it at the wick. No specific reason. I'm just marking it up as I see and whatever looks better, honestly, like whatever looks better on the chart, like what covers more, whether it be the body or the wick. And I think the body over here for today looks like it covers more than the wick, of course, to be safer. All right, guys, you got market opening up shortly in about 5 seconds. Again, if you're looking to take the breakout, it is going to be a buy for the day. Um, Obviously, I'm not looking to take the breakout. And there you go, big push right there. Breakout is pushing up in profit. Come back and take a look at that in a second. I'll be looking for my 10-minute momentum, of course.
Connection.
Connection loss. Big spike right here. No surprise, kind of what we've seen over the past couple of days. So price spiked up immediately and then it spiked right back down. We've been getting a lot of this choppy spike over the past week or so. Yeah, we get like this opening spike, pretty messy. See how far it pushed up. So the breakout for today looks like it already hit, or I mean, it should have, yeah. So if you went 60-30, the breakout already hit full TP. If you went 80-40, or you went 50-50, that already hit full TP as well. If you went 80-40, I think it's still running. It's on its way up. It's about to hit full TP right there. Either way, breakout's been on a streak for the past couple of weeks. It's been pretty hot. It's just sometimes you get caught in the spike on open and it kind of messes up your position. But for the most part, it's been pretty much hitting, especially if you're doing the 60-30. Like 60-30, I think has been on point pretty much every day. The 80 points is almost there. Um, see if there's any other setups here. Okay, so 80 points right there, full TP, guys, pretty smooth. Um, and I gotta figure out why Zoom does this. For some reason, like Zoom has been taking up a ton of resources on my computer. Like before, I thought I was trading view having the issues, but now that I've pulled up my activity monitor, for some reason my Zoom is like taking up like 200% of my CPU. I don't know what's going on with the Zoom. I don't know if the app needs to be updated or what, but you guys can see if you guys understand how this works. Like look at all my CPU usage here. For some reason, Zoom is like it's just sucking the life out of my computer. Um, I gotta figure out like what's causing that. Run by ChatGPT. Masich, don't know what the hell happened. TP on the breakout, but so much slippage on the exit, like 30 points. Yeah, probably with these spikes right here, huh? Happens sometimes, Masich. That's why on the 1 minute, I have to be really careful with my entries, or I try to exit with a limit versus stop. I'm surprised there was that much. Well, I'm pretty sure you exited with a limit. I'm surprised it still had that much of slippage, huh? It's pretty crazy. So, guys, I'm gonna step away for 1 second. I'm gonna grab some water, and I will be right back. Yeah, I think it might have been a lag from your maybe the webhook, possibly. I don't know, because if it's a limit order, usually it's like it gives you that specific price, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. 1 second. I'm gonna grab some water. All right, guys. I am back over here. Let's see. Yeah, so Siege is up one trade for today so far. He didn't take that higher high reversal right there. Um, looks like it might have hit that one. The Siege. Pretty nice wick right here. Body's kind of small, but the bottom wick is also big. Oh, it would have hit stop first. I guess he was using a tight stop for that one, huh? Oh, okay, okay. That makes sense. 240. Yeah. All right, guys. So let's see what's going on here. We have a 10-minute momentum currently up right now for a buy. So if this here closes, you may have opportunity for entry here. We got about 3 minutes left on this candle, so we'll kind of see how this candle here ends up closing. If this is the case, then entry is probably going to happen. I mean, depends on how this candle really closes. It's rejecting off the Asia high right now. Looks like a good setup if it does close, though. If it does close, I mean, it's pretty far pullback, but entry would happen right here on like 450, I think. Ideally, you don't want to get in at the 500, but I have to close like way up here. It's gonna have to push up further. It's currently stuck at this resistance right now. So I got this resistance drawn up from right here, pretty much pre-market. It's currently ranging, sort of. What I would need here is I need price to push up like within the next minute or so to like up this area and then hold, basically break and retest above here and hold above this area here, right? If price can do that and hold above this area, we'll probably get that buy for the for right here, and I'll probably get it at the 500. So 48, 500. That'll probably be the spot, probably not the 550, 500. So we'll see. We got about a minute 30 on this right here. Watching for it. So yeah, like I said, I want it to kind of hold above this area. If it can hold above this area, great. If it can't, then there's probably not going to be an entry there. We still got a minute left, so a minute left for it to kind of bounce around that area. But I will be watching it over here as we speak. Yeah, I don't know if that buy signal is going to close. We'll see. I don't want it to close too tight to that area though, because if it closes too tight and it's not closing, it's looking like price is pulling back a bit. Yeah. Doesn't look like we're gonna get the close there on that 10 minute. So we got about 30 seconds left on this candle. And this unless this thing spikes up in the last 30 seconds, probably not to get a buy signal on that. We'll have to wait for the next. Which is fine. There's no rush here. Yeah, we're getting kind of a bit of a chop back right here. I'm looking at the 1 minute on StoneX right now, just kind of looking at how this thing's kind of pushing around. No, no buy signal there. Okay, so we continue to wait here for the next opportunity. We got another 10 minutes. So you can see price didn't break and close and hold above this area here. So it didn't end up providing that buy signal. Again, I would need this to break and close and hold above here. If that was the case, great, I'd look for the opportunity for entry, but it wasn't the case here. We do have another pending bullish momentum here on the 10 minutes. So again, we'll kind of wait and see if this here pushes above. Ideally, it's going to have to hold above the 48,500. So I'd be looking for this to close somewhere up here, right? I don't really want to mess with an invalid signal. If it does close with an invalid signal, I may possibly put like a limit order somewhere down here. Maybe not even at the 50. I might even go down lower to like the 400. I mean, it's always tricky, right? It's tricky. The fundamentals are bullish though, so I mean, it can shoot up. It's just right now it's kind of sitting around this area here. It's having trouble getting past the Asia high. I would prefer buys here. The reason why I prefer buys here is because we have um we have target areas to reach, right? We have the London, where's London high at? The London high, which is way up here. So we do have room for price to push up and climb higher. So ideally, yes, if we do have the opportunity, I'd rather have buys here than sells. If I'm gonna have a sell here, I want price to be below the structure right here. Like I'd prefer to take sells down here if I could. But where we're currently sitting right now, I'd rather have some buys. We got 9 minutes, so there's no rush. I'll come back and take a look at that 10 in a few. We do have the pending buy signal right there, so see, I don't think I'd get in here at the 450 though. I'd probably get in lower at the 400. So I'll stick here on the 1 minute, kind of see how the price action is moving. You can see prices having trouble getting past this resistance right here. We're currently in chop right now. Price is basically ranging between it's ranging between this structure and this structure down here, this support and this resistance. So it's just a back and forth. Um, let's see the algo entries for today. So there's an algo entry here at 6:30. That was a full TP. So first one right there, again, like I said, I didn't change the algo entries. These have been identified since Sunday. So the first one right here was a win. Next one at 6:39. I think there might have been a pending momentum on that one now. Yeah, there was. So there's a pending momentum right there. That was flickering momentum. So no entry on that one. 6:54, we're not there yet, but we'll keep an eye out on it. So looking like over here, like I said, I don't think the buy signal is going to come up. Ideally, I wouldn't with regard to like how this is currently moving. In order for me to like really want to like this position, this thing would need to push up a lot higher and provide opportunity somewhere, above here. Otherwise, it just doesn't look like a good setup at all. All right, we're just getting this back and forth chop right here. There's no rush for the entry. Again, this thing's coming right back down. It's just chopping up between these two structures right here. It's a little messy, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys can see how it's moving right now. There was only one real entry that showed up, or there's two actually that showed up today so far. Or no, actually just one. I mean, if you wanted to look for an MPS, this could have been an MPS entry right here. I don't think anybody would be looking for that though, because the trend wasn't confirmed. The real one was only just this breakout. All right, so price came back, retested the opening price. We'll see if it bounces back up from here. Otherwise, if not, like I said, sells could be okay down here, but the daily entry is going to be a buy. The reason for that is because we already have a sell signal. So we're looking for price to swing back the other way. You can get two sell signals to follow each other, right? You have to wait for it to flip the other way. So kind of follow it here, see where this ends up going. Here's the clean chart. Yeah, so here's a clean chart. I'll mark up structure here so you guys can have a better idea of like where price is currently consolidating and ranging from. Yeah, there's not really too much here to work with. It's just consolidating and ranging from this lower point. All right, so we got price now bouncing off the support level. Again, I'd be looking for the expansion to the upside. If I do get an entry within this midpoint here, I mean, it's going to be tough because I got to get past that resistance still. So if we do get an entry around this point, it's going to be hard. Ideally, I'd like it to be above the structure here. All right, we got price dropping below the support level. That's not going to be useful for our daily entry, but it might be useful later. So like what I'd like to see here is a drop further and then a swing back up from here, right? Because if we get a swing back up from here, then we'll be able to get in at a better discount. Because ideally, I want this to hit before it reaches this previous resistance right here. So ideally, this is kind of what I'd like to see. Maybe get our entry right here for the buy. Because either way, it's going to be a buy today for the 10-minute daily entry. Not yet, but it's going to be a buy. Oh, Miss C. So like I figured out why the numbers were off yesterday. So when I was using the tester, I remember I mentioned like it was like at 43%. I I was on the 1 minute chart, that's why. So I moved back to the 10. I kind of changed the settings around a little bit. So the TP stop loss, I kind of widened it just a little bit. So it was at, we're typically using 150 to 75. I just moved it up a little bit to increase it. If we're using a 150 to 75, I think it drops just a little bit. So it's at 43.08 with at 150 to 75, it's 42.75. So it's not a big difference. Yeah, it's not a big difference at all. It's just this, I think there's maybe an additional entry that's kind of counted for. But yeah, I mean the stats here look pretty good. Here's one thing that I found an issue with Masij. I think with the if you want to test it, so I think if we use the round to nearest 100, this here gets it gets disregarded, the limit. And the reason for that, and I'll show you an example over here. So the example is like on March 4th, I think, yesterday. Because like typically, if that's the case, it has to, the offset is like 100 points. So like right here, this candle closed, um, and it would offset 20 points. So 39, 29, or no, actually not this one here. I think it was the next one. Yeah, so 39, 29. Yeah, no, this one's right. Let me go to the one before that. I think it was the 25th, I believe. I mean, I don't know if it was just this one trade, but it was the 25th. I think it glitches like when it gets like if the entry is like right on the dot at the 100 mark. Okay, 25th right here. So this candle here, oh, this is where I found an issue too. So this was supposed to be a buy entry, but it showed up as a sell. I haven't looked far back enough to see like if this happens a lot, but we had a buy signal here. So this should have been entry would have been like right here at the 300, but it was like up there. This is on February 25th. Okay, the 26th is where it was off. Okay, yeah. So this is so like for example, right here, we had a sell signal and the offset's supposed to be 20 points, right? So it would be 81 or 601, 611. The entry technically should have been up at the 700 price point, right? Because it would offset it and then the entry would be at the nearest 100. So with the strategy, I wanted to account for both. So like for example, for this type of entry right here, this candle closed at 49,591, and then it would have to go back about 20 points, which is going to be 611, right? And then once it gets to that 611, then it goes back to the previous 100. Yeah. So basically, once the candle closes, it'll go back 20 points, and that's where the offset is. And then from there, now it rounds to the nearest 100. So the entry would actually happen not at the 600, it would happen at the 700 right here. So this would just be a no fill. Yeah, right there. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks, Missy, for fixing that. I wasn't sure if it was just a single entry that had the issue. I'm pretty sure it was just um it made it where it overrided, right? It was like one or the other, either the offset or the nearest 100. I think that was probably what it was. Yes, that is correct. So it would be it would round up to the nearest 100 in the opposite direction. Because you know how we use limit orders? Like for example, if price was like below the 600 right here, we wouldn't be able to put a limit order there. It'd be like a stop order because it'd have to be like somewhere behind price. So like if it was a sell, it'd have to be behind price this way. If it was a buy, it'd have to be behind price this way. Yeah, so it would always have to round up. Okay, cool. Thanks, Masish. Yeah, I know it's you have to be very specific with the coding language for it to get it correctly. Okay, perfect. So let's go back to the charts, guys. Again, there's no buy signal which has came up yet, so we're still kind of just waiting for this here to confirm.
Connection.
We got price just sitting here at the support level, guys. If you're looking to take entry, um, I mean, there's nothing here right now. There's a possible algo entry coming up here at 640, 654. Yeah, we had a possible algo entry coming up here at 654. It would have to close above the momentum though, so it'd have to be like up here. It's pulled back right now, so there's probably gonna be no entry. It's gonna be considered chop right now. So I'll just update that. This is most likely gonna be chop, 654. Or I don't know, we'll see. If this here pushes up, it's currently pushing up right now. Let me just delete that for right now. I'll put it back if necessary, but right now it looks like it's gonna be in the chop. I'll leave it there actually, so I don't have to look for the criteria. Let's see. So Missy said also that one that was a sell when it should have been a buy. The first signal of the day was a. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Let me check that real quick. Let's see. Maybe I just misread that one. I think it was on the. Oh, okay, okay. No, yeah. Thanks for for mentioning that. Okay, then that makes sense. Yeah, because the first signal here was a sell. Here's one thing too. If you can also include it, Message as an input. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but like, so for my statistics, I found that if an opposite signal comes up like this, then it's better to either close out for a partial profit, or if it hasn't filled yet, the order is canceled, if that's one that you can include. Um, so like basically like the main gist of it is like we don't want opposite momentum conflicting, right? So initially here at 650, we had a sell signal. It closed at 630, so the entry would have happened over here at the 400. There'd be no fill yet, right? There'd just be no fill. And then once this buy signal came up, they just would have been canceled. And this would have prevented the loss from happening, right? Because it would have filled right there and then it would have just lost because price would have went opposite. So if that's one that you could include in it, I think that's another thing that we could. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of just re-engineering it to get the highest probability, of course. Because this is pretty good for a whole year of trading. This one strategy, this is pretty good profitability for a 1 to 2, right? 43%. This is a 10% edge, basically, with a pretty good profit factor for a whole year long. And then if you scale the account, you can make a lot of money off this. So yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, if you can include it just as an input, just so we can see, because what I want to see is really the win rate. I don't care so much about the profits. I just want to see how can we bump up the win rate as much as possible. Um, I'm still going to do it by hand too. Like right now, I'm using this to just identify what are the best criteria. But yeah, yeah, I figure the partial orders wouldn't really work because usually like a lot of these have to run off close candle for the back test. Okay, cool. I appreciate that, Masich. Thanks. Dejan said it kind of want the market anywhere but near the sessions. Yeah, because you guys can see how price is getting manipulated on the sessions right here. Price basically came back down, retested the sessions right here, and it pushed right back up, right? There's no pending momentum yet on the 10 minutes, so there's no entries at the moment. If we do get a buy signal here by any chance, like over the next 4 minutes or so, it looks like entry might happen around the 400 or maybe the 350. But there's nothing there yet. We have about 3 minutes and 44 seconds left on this 10-minute candle. I'm starting to like the 10-minute a lot more and more lately. One thing that I've been testing this specific style of trading last night. I found it really interesting. I don't know if it'll work with prop firms because it has to do with a lot of uh with entry stacking. So like basically what I was kind of playing around with like was if we had a bearish trend and a bearish momentum, I would basically just enter one contract and just keep averaging in. I don't know if the averaging in strategy works. I remember for a while Apex banned it, but like basically whenever like you get a red candle, I would just take a one contract sell, and then if another red candle comes up, red contract sell, and if it flips the other way, I just reverse it. I found there to be pretty profitable, like obviously really risky. I wouldn't do it on a personal account, but if the prop account, it's kind of fun because you just wait for these 10-minute candles to close, and then you could just keep dollar cost averaging in into the direction. Obviously, it doesn't work well in the choppy market, but I think in the future I'm gonna look for a prop firm that allows for dollar cost averaging in, um, and then maybe kind of test it out. Because what, in a sense, what you're doing is you're kind of just adding on to a winning position in a sense. If I have time at the end of the session, maybe I'll show you guys how it works. Um, But yeah, like I said, I'm always like kind of playing around with things, identifying certain ways of trading. The problem is like trading these with prop firms is like it's hard because a lot of prop firms don't allow these types of strategies. They consider them too risky or gambling in a sense. Jesus is asking, when do you sell? So for that specific strategy, it would run until about 10 o'clock. So by 10 o'clock, you'll usually end up with about 10 contracts. So like for example, here, you have a sell momentum at 6:30, you would just take so on this candle you would take a sell, and then if you have another red candle, you would take a sell. It would just average in. So like say for example, your entry price was like down here, right? And then you have another sell candle or a red candle that comes up, then your entry price would average in and get a little bit higher and higher and higher. Um, until it ends up coming back down. So if it corrects back down, then you really bankroll on it because you just kept averaging in, and then you increase your contract size as price moves along. And then you exit closer to 10 o'clock. So once it gets to 10 o'clock, you kind of just hold it. I think that's going to be another problem because it's going to mess with the consistency rule with Apex. So I don't know if you can do it with Apex specifically. Because like on some days you'll have like 1,000 profit, some days you'll have like 10,000 profit, some days you'll have like 20,000 profit, right? If the market's trading super heavy, you'll keep stacking up and you'll just multiply your profits very quickly. Um, again, I don't know if this is going to be something that could be used with Apex, maybe a different prop firm, but I thought it was a pretty cool strategy to kind of just trade on the 10-minute to make it less stressful and less work. So it looks like Masij here and Daniel got the MPS that came up. So nice work on catching that, guys. I was waiting here for the 10-minute momentum. I think we're going to get a 10-minute momentum on the next candle. If it doesn't come up here, which not looking like, we're probably going to get it on the next candle here on this close, unless it comes up at the last second. And there we go. The momentum is pending again right there on this following candle. So I'll be watching for a possible entry here for the daily. Looks like over here, Masij, and this was at MPSPA actually. So we had a lower low, buy signal, retracement, confirmation right there. If you guys caught that, great work. If you guys didn't, it's completely fine. But this was an MPSPA right here that Daniel caught and Masij caught. And Masij is up 2 wins for the day so far, 3.5 R. Nice work, Masij. Nice work, Daniel, as well. Karen said the other 10-minute strategy was really nice, was on the 10-minute snipe, was the 10-minute snipe. Yeah, the 10-minute snipe's pretty good too. Um, with a lot of this market chop on the 1 minute, if you guys want to move on to like the 10 or move up to the 10-minute time frame and use my older 10-minute strategies, they work perfectly fine. Some of you guys here have been doing it. Some of you guys have just been adjusting to the 10-minute. I've started to like the 10-minute a lot more. It's a lot easier to take limit orders and stuff like that. Less noise. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice. Like for example, over here, if you wanted to take an MPS or an MPS, a market flow. So market flow V2, this actually would have been a nice setup right here because price would have pushed up. I would just get into the whole number. So like for example, right here at the 500, See, this would have been a perfect market flow V2 right there. I feel like this is something that CJ would be looking at because the trend here was so heavy to the downside. Price pull down. Your entry would happen somewhere on the pivots, but I would go for the whole number right here, the 500, and it would have filled it pretty nicely. Yeah, I'm see shit perfect waves on the 1 minute. I think I'm going to get an MPS to the downside, then I'm done. CJ, I actually just realized CJ isn't here right now. CJ's been coming in later. So CJ came in late yesterday. CJ was here at the end. I think maybe when you left with CJ, but CJ did pretty good. I think CJ locked in like 300 points yesterday. CJ's been locking like those 150 point moves. So we came in a little later, and then he took a high. The strategy was the high level momentum scalp. So like, and I think that's one that Daniel took yesterday too. It was like a lower low, price broken close. It was like this right here. Lower low, this buy signal broke past pivots one and two, and that'd be a high level momentum scalp. It works good in a ranging market or a mean reverting market, which has kind of been the case lately. We've been getting a lot of this mean reversion. All right, so we're getting an invalid buy signal here. I don't really like this invalid buy signal too much. Um, I mean, I don't even know if I'm gonna get the entry here as much as I like, but I'd like to take a buy here. If this does close, I wouldn't get in at this 450. I would get in closer to like the 400. And if that's the case, I don't even think the signal will close there. Be a little too far down. Ollie said 10 minutes is much better than 1 minute. Yeah, Ollie's been liking the 10 minute as well. It's just, it gives you more time to think and more time to set up your entry. And if you want to use limit orders, it also helps too because you have like, again, you have more thinking time. So the 1 minute's good if you can think on your feet and if you're not trading so much like a crazy amount of volume. Um, like if you're trading one account or a couple accounts or like low contract sizing. But if you are, it does become kind of tough for me specifically because the fills are just impossible to get. Like when I get in with like 200 contracts, the fills are they're so erratic. Sometimes I get in like with a 10, 20 point difference, and then the average is like so crappy because the books are so thin on YM compared to like ES or NQ. All right. So no entry here, guys. The buy signal there has disappeared. We have about 5 minutes left though. So if this here swings right back up in the next 5 minutes, we may get that buy signal back. But you guys can see prices just chopping up between these two structures that I drew up earlier, right? I drew this up pretty much before market opened. And I mentioned that price is probably going to chop up. Eventually, it's going to break out of this area and move. But right now, it's still chopping up between this middle area. Here's my clean chart. So you guys can see I drew the structure before all this even happened. So I drew it from this high point to this low point, and then price has pretty much been respecting it. Whenever price pushes past it, it just fakes out, and then it pulls back into the range. Same with this right here, right? Price pushes out slightly, pulls back into the range. It just looks to trap the buyers and the sellers whenever it gets to those points. Yeah, Messi should give me this pullback. Yeah, no lower low there. If this was a lower low, I think this would be nice for Messi. If you had that lower low right there, big wig, little body, I think this thing would have pushed right back up to this range up there. I mean, you might get it. Price might come down, might wick off the London low right there. But all right, we are gonna wait here. Again, my daily entry hasn't came up yet. If you guys have been looking for entries here so far, there's only a couple entries which have came up. Oh, gotcha. Okay, you're looking for the MPS. Gotcha. He's looking to take it to the downside. Solid. Yeah, it looks like it's going to set up right here. This could set up for a pretty good entry because it has a sell signal, bearish trend. If you get that retracement there and it closes below, this could be another break of structure, right? A break off the London low. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a good, it's a basically liquidity grab or liquidity sweep. continuation to the sweep basically. So like if you have an entry there, yeah, I can come and grab liquidity right there at that lower low. Perfect. I can see that happening. Yeah, no green. Slightly close green, and then he came back. So we'll see. All right, no entries here for me so far, guys. We have about 3 minutes until this 10-minute candle closes. No buy signal, so no entry there. Yeah, probably not gonna get a buy signal anytime soon. So the cool thing with the stats too that I looked at is that I found that because we were doing it until 10 o'clock, 8:30 is a sweet spot. So again, I'm gonna try to just keep increasing the probability even higher, guys, over time. So I'm just gonna keep increasing, 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 just changing stats a little bit to see what works best. I tried to use the entire data, but I don't think the entire history is very useful. I think a year is good enough because the market conditions change very often, right? They change from month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year. Whatever was working now wasn't really working like, 10, 20 years ago. Because if we go to entire history, it's going to cover like almost 19 years of data. It's just it's not useful. All right, we got these huge candles. So here's the 10-minute. You guys can see huge candles both ways. Big candle to the upside, big candle to the downside, big candle to the upside, another big candle to the downside right here. Very, very choppy, not just on the 1 minute, but even on the 5 minute and the 10-minute. So here's a 5 minute time frame. You guys can see the chop right there, right? Very choppy on the five. See, this is why I don't do the daily entry on the five. If you guys can see right here, you would have been burnt very easily both ways. If you take that buy signal there and you try to get in at the closest 100 right here, the 500, see, this would stop you out easily. That's why I've decided to stick with the 10 because the 10, you'll be able to siphon through the noise a little better. I mean, there's still a lot of noise here on the 10, but not as bad as the one and a five. Damn, that would have been great, Masij. You came back and grabbed that liquidity, but it never pulled back, so no entry for you. Yeah, Masij said L, the 1 minute looks good, but the 10-minute looks horrible. Yeah, the 1 minute actually looks pretty decent, even though it's chopping up. It looks pretty decent compared to the 5 and 10. I mean, the 10 looks really, really bad, right? You don't usually see this very often on the 10 where you get this massive chop. Because you got to think about it, these are 10-minute candles. They shouldn't be chopping up this bad. Maybe a big range where it pushes up, comes back down, back and forth, kind of like this right here. But where each candle and the range is getting wider. You guys notice that? So we had a small, well, not a small range. This range right here was about 125 points. And then the one next to it, that was 180 points. And then the one next to it, that was 203 points. And this most recent candle was 220 points. So it's expanding. Like it's basically a range, like a very choppy range, but it's expanding farther and farther. And the crazy thing here is that it's not a wick range, right? This is a full body range. So we get a big push up, big push down, big push up, big push down. And I would honestly be a little shocked if this thing pushes up big and then it provides like an even bigger candle because we're currently in like the range right now is pretty massive. It's pretty massive. Like if you look over here, like the only times when we have big candles like that is when there's news happening, right? During normal market, you don't get like here's the market from yesterday. You get a directional push, but not where it's like ranging back and forth 200 points. Like maybe a small range like this right here, right? Maybe 100 points, not even 100 points, maybe 60 points. This is from yesterday. The range was like maybe 60 points back and forth. But today it's like it's extremely choppy. So what you want to see here is you want to see some sort of directional push. Like for example, if this candle here closes red, then this might be the start of a continuation to the downside, right? Maybe. But again, there's nothing here, so we're just kind of going to sit around for a bit and wait. Let's see, Masij said, yeah, lower low reversal invalidated due to momentum from the bot. MPS has lower low in the way. Yeah, got a lower low right there. This could be a possible MPS V2. I mean, I wouldn't want to take it because there's a lower low here with the green candle, but yeah, so this is a reversal pattern to the upside, guys. We have a lower low right here with a green candle. This typically will indicate that price is ready to push up. It's pretty much what happened here, right? So see how we had a lower low right here with a green candle? That was a reversal pattern. It pushed up. And we had an engulfing candle right here, another reversal pattern to the upside, and it pushed up pretty high, right? So you want to be cautious when you guys see that. If you see a lower low with a green candle, expect a possible reversal up. You would like to see a confluence though. So like this doesn't necessarily mean, oh, for sure it's going to push up. And this is where it's conflicting because right here we have a reversal to the upside, and then right here we have an engulfing candle and a V1 variation. So these are reversals to the downside. You got reversal up, reversal down. What might happen here is just this might just end up chopping up unless we get a reversal from the bottom right here, like a confluence we had right here, lower low green candle plus engulfing, then it pushed up. If you get something like that, then maybe it can push further. But the problem here is that it it's conflicting analyses. That's why I don't like the 1 minute as much when I'm doing these types of analyses because you can really get tripped up if you don't have a bias. So typically I like to have some sort of bias if I'm going to be looking at stuff like that. Here's the 10 minute. I don't think we're going to get a buy signal anytime soon. In order for us to get a buy signal, I think price would have to push up a little higher, closer to like the 400, somewhere around this area right here. I'm actually a little shocked that this buy signal here didn't close with a buy signal, but I'm glad that it didn't, right? Because if it did, we would have been screwed if we got in for a buy right here, and our fill would have been at the basically the 400 or the 450 actually. If we got in right here at the 450, this would have went straight to our stop loss. So I'm glad it didn't close, but I'm surprised. Yeah, both of these didn't close with the buy signal. This is why it's important. The momentum signal is really a key criteria that I need to follow and pay attention to, right? Because if we don't have that buy signal there, it tells us not to it doesn't give us the opportunity to actually get in for an entry. All right, so price again is faking out below here. We'll see if it pulls back into this middle range, push back up. Nothing here yet, but this could be what may play out. Here's my clean chart. So I drew this structure over here from this morning, pre-market. You can see price has been respecting it. Whenever it pulls below it, it just fakes out. It pulled below it, lowering the sellers, pull back into the range. Same with this right here. Break below it, pull back into the range. This is the 1 minute. Let me go on the 5 minute. Super messy right here. So you guys can see prices respecting the same structure, but it starts to get a little bit more choppier. Now let's go to the 10 minute. Now this is pretty bad on the 10. The chop right here on the 10 is this is what I call extreme chop. You don't see this very often where price chops up 200 points. Unless there's something going on, right? Unless there's news or something that's really causing price to chop up like that, you don't see that too often. You see it on the 1 minute a lot, but not on the 10. I mean, either way, there's no buy signal there, so there's nothing to take. Might have to wait later in the session. I think closer to like 7:30, maybe closer to 8, we might get a push up higher to here. And if we do get a push up higher to here, then we'll maybe get a buy signal. We need to get some sort of expansion. So what I would like to, or what I need to see here for that to actually happen is we establish a floor, a new support level, and then price makes a continuous push to the upside, right? If that's the case, then I'll expect a buy signal on the 10 minutes to come up somewhere around here. And then from there, I'll probably ride that up to the structure right here. Because it'll probably push up and retest this. I mean, it already tested the Asia high or the Asia low, whatever this may be. So probably reach for that resistance above. All right, so Masij is done for the day. He took 2 trades, both wins. His cutoff is 7:15, so he's turning off the bot now. And he's going to be posting his P&L. Again, if you guys are not familiar with what Masij is doing, what he's done is he's basically automated all of my strategies. I think there's about 30 to 35 strategies that are being executed. He trades between 6:30 and 7:15. He goes for either 3 wins or 2 losses. If it reaches the time limit of 7:15, he's done trading for the day. So he'll be posting his P&L. Here's his P&L from yesterday. So I'm pretty sure today's gonna be pretty good as well. So yeah, Siege over here. This is P&L from yesterday. Made 38,400. I think he had 3 trades from yesterday. And again, these are just my strategies automated with Message's Edge, of course. Slight adjustments to them, taking order flow into consideration, etc. And that's where he was from yesterday. And today he's going to be obviously a bit more. So we'll see. We will see in a second. But I'll just leave this up here so you guys can see the difference from today and yesterday. There's an MPS V2 setting up right here, guys, if anybody is looking to jump into that. So there's a sell signal, trend is bearish. We have a retracement continuation right here. This right here is going to be a sell entry for MPS V2 for those of you who are looking to get in. I'm not looking to get into any sells right now. I'm looking for price to flip the other way on the 10-minute time frame. But if you guys are trading on the 1 minute, you're going for these smaller moves, you can maybe ride this down. This candle would have to close below this area right here, though. If it doesn't close below, it's not going to be an MPS V2. You can see right there, it's waking up, so probably not. This looks like it could be a lower low entry for Masij. Yeah, so this is actually a lower low entry. This is a lower low scalp. Huge wick right here, lower low. Price pushed up at the last second. I don't like when it pushes up at the last second like that, but that's kind of a setup there that would be lining up. Let me check the algo entries. So I think we identified a lot of these. 54, 56. Let me see which ones haven't updated yet. So 56, let me go to that real quick. So the 56 entry over here came up. This is another algo entry. So 6:30, 56 was right here. Actually, this one came up right here. So here's another algo entry, another full TP, guys, if anybody caught that. So you guys can see here, my algo entries are still hitting. This is the 650, 56 one, and then 657, which was right after it. This one also hit. So the algo has been pretty on point, guys, for these past couple of days. I think the 59 probably lost. Yeah, so this one over here lost at 659. I'm gonna go and update that real quick. So 656, this was a win. 657, this was a win. 659, this was a loss. So the algo's been pretty much on point today for the most part. It's currently up 5R for the day. So yeah, if you're taking these algo entries, I mean they're hitting, guys. They're still hitting. If you're taking just one per day, they're still pretty much on point. There's another one coming up right here at 7:22, so in about 2 minutes. In about 2 minutes, you guys will see it. Hey Kenny, my bad. I just saw your messages right now. Yeah, Kenny said could move if it does because it's at the pattern of the previous day low. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, he mentioned if it doesn't break out right now, then it could go back to the range. I mean, we'll see. It broke past the lower low right here. So this is an MPS V2 currently running right now, guys. If anybody decided to jump into it. So we had a sell signal retracement confirmation right here. This is an MPS V2 currently running in profit. For anybody who's looking to get into it, obviously I wouldn't get into it. Um, I'm waiting for my 10-minute entry to show up. Hasn't came up yet. But all right, here, I'm gonna do this real quick, guys. I forgot to do this today before I get in trouble for this. So just another reminder before we continue on, guys. Oh wait, not this one. Yeah, so just another reminder before we continue on with our analyses for today, guys. So I, Cody Kai Capital, I'm registered with the CFTC NFA as a professional trader, commodity trading advisor. This is my NFA CTA ID. Futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You can lose more than your initial investment. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This stream is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing shown or discussed is a solicitation to buy or sell any futures contract or to participate in any trading program. I may hold positions in the market as discussed, and my views may change at any time based on the market conditions. If hypothetical or back-tested results appear during the stream, they have significant limitations and do not represent actual trading. So, all right, guys, there goes my disclosure. Take that off and back to our analysis. So looking at this right here, the MPS V2 just came in, guys, and it just hit. Looks like Harmony right there caught it. Nice work, Harmony, for that MPS V2. Like I said, guys, the 1 minute entries are hitting. So if you guys want to take these 1 minute entries, feel free. I just can't take them with the hedge fund clients because I got to use limit orders. But solid win right there. I'm still looking for price to swing back up for my 10 minute entry, but we just don't have that yet. I don't even know if we'll get it today. I mean, we'll see. It might happen a little later. Might happen a little later. It's only 7:30 right now, so I still have about an hour for my reversal to happen, or I don't want to call it a reversal, but basically a momentum swing back up if the fundamentals hold. And we'll see. So, anyways, here are Masij's profits from yesterday. Here are his profits for today. So over here, Masij said March 5th, good day, 2 wins, 2 trades, 1 MPS, 1 breakout with a 3.5 R total. So here are his profits for the day. He locked in 20,400 across his accounts. These are Masij's personal accounts. He's not trading prop accounts, just personal accounts. So 3,400 per account right there. Nice work, Masij. So if we compare this to yesterday he had 3 wins, so he had a little bit more profit, 38,400. For today, he had 2 wins with a bit of some slippage, so he locked in about 3,400 per account. Again, if you guys are wondering what Masij is doing, what he's doing is he's automated my strategies and he runs the bot from 6:30 to 7:15 right there. And solid work, Masij. Yeah, no, great work on that. I'm sure everyone's excited for you to release that bot to the general public here, but or not general public, but our community, of course. And yeah, we'll kind of see. Kind of curious to see how everyone kind of messes with it, specifically Steven. All right, Masij. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good one. So Masij is done for the day. All right, I'm still looking for my 10 minute entry, guys. There's a lot of 1 minute entries here, which are coming up. The 722, let's see how this one came up right here. Another algo entry right there. It looks like a full TP. The algo's been really on point lately, guys. So it's currently running right now. This is a 722 entry. Yeah, so this one's currently running. This is a 722 algo entry. It's almost at its target. Harmony hit our full TP on that MPS V2. Nice work, Harmony. Catching that MPS V2 right there. Okay, so I'm just waiting for my entry on the 10 minute. See, this is what I don't like about the 10 minute. I mean, I like the 10 minute, but this is what I don't like about it because a lot of times you're going to be you're just going to be waiting a lot of the times because there's nothing that comes up, right? Or your setup just doesn't come up until like way later. My cutoff for entry here on the 10 minute is going to be 8:30, so I have about an hour until then. What I'm gonna look for is I'm looking for price to swing back up. The fundamentals are bullish, so I mean it might be an eventual push back up for correction. But let's see if there's any news for today. So here's BizTalk. So Israel strikes, Tehran sites, war widens. Most recent breaking news from this morning. This happened about an hour ago. Yeah, so US has been bombing Iran around the clock, but Israel has dropped some more. That's the only breaking news right now for the most part. Yeah, not too much here. Let's check out CNBC. Everything is pretty bearish right now. So if you look over here, the Dow's currently down 500 points, S&P's down 42 points, Nasdaq's down 98 points. The Dow is down a lot right now, guys. Down five. It's ready. It's due for correction. I'm surprised the Dow is down 600 points now. I'm surprised it's down this much compared to everything else. Let's take a look at the other assets here now. I mean, S&P is down pretty heavy too, but it's not down 600 points. So let me check the percentages. I guess they're like half. So the Dow is down 1.2%, S&P is down 0.68, Nasdaq's down 50%, Russell 2K is down 8 0.88. Um, so we'll see. I mean, everything is bearish right now. The YM is down, ES is down, NQ is down, even gold's down. Everything is literally down right now. Let me check crude oil. Crude oil is actually up, which is expected, but everything else is down. Gold, equities, etc. And we'll see if it keeps dropping. I mean, this thing is dumping. So another win right there for the algo entry, guys. So pretty much a lot of the algo entries have been on fire this week. If you guys have been taking the algo entries. So there you go. It's currently up 7R so far for the day. We had a win at 6:30. No entries over here at 6:39, 6:54. It was a flickering momentum and then chop at 6:54. Then at 6:56, there was a win. 6:57, there was a win. 6:59, there was a loss. 6:22 there or 7:22, there was a win. And then 7:56 is going to be the last entry. So we'll keep following it there. Again, if you guys want to apply the algo, if you guys are new here and you guys want access to the algo, or if you guys have been here for a while, you guys don't have access to the algo is still available to the public. So if you guys, or not the public, but people who are here, previous clients. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys can still get access to this. If you're on the YouTube, just go down to the description below and you can join. You can join to unlock your access. It's been a pretty crazy week so far. I mean, with regard to volatility, the 10-minute entry has been like kind of wishy-washy for this week. There's been some wins, some losses. I think the biggest thing here is that it's been a lot of I mean, there's been a couple no fills. Like so for yesterday, we canceled our order because we had news at 7. We avoided this possible loss. Um, on Monday, this trade won, I believe. Yeah, so it won right here. Or it lost. I don't know. This was an invalid. I forgot what happened on Monday, but we didn't get into this one either. Yeah, we haven't. I haven't taken any trades this week so far, but this trade over here, so it pulled down to the 84, 840, and I think the entry would have happened somewhere around the 800, which it did right there. We didn't take that one. I forgot what happened on Monday, but we didn't take that one, or I didn't take it. And then Tuesday over here, uh, this wasn't a fill. This trade hit a TP, but it never filled for us because it was. I know some of you guys did fill because you guys used the other criteria. So a lot of you guys got in at the 30 right here, and it was a perfect entry. It's a perfect snipe entry right there. But like, and this thing pushed up like 1,000 points. So Tuesday was good. Tuesday won. Monday lost. Yesterday lost, but we got out of that because of the news at 7. It was high impact, the inflation news. And then today, I don't even know if we're going to get something. I was looking for this to swing back up. I mean, we still have opportunity here. You know, we have until 8:30, but at the rate that we're dropping right now, I don't know if this is going to swing back up. It might swing up, but it might not be at 8:30. It might be a little bit later, like later in the session. Because you know, price is gonna recoup to some extent. If it doesn't recoup, I think the target area for price to reach is gonna be 47,000. You know, people like to look for those big whole numbers. I don't think it's gonna happen today, but I think maybe by next week, if it does continue dropping, That's gonna be a target area for it to push down to. But damn, look at this thing. Huge, huge, basically waterfall to the bottom. Everything here is dumping for the most part. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, bearish right there. Higher time frames, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, also very bearish. Let's see, Kenny said my best week this year so far. Nice work, Kenny. I was hoping this was gonna be my best week, but there just hasn't been a lot of entries. I mean, either way, if you guys took every 10-minute entry that came up for this week, you'd be like slightly in profit, if not at break even. You should be slightly in profit though, because the opposite signal came up yesterday, you would have pulled out for partial. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens here. If this ever swings back up. Okay, now that we're so far below, I'm gonna mark up some new structure here. Can draw a little bit of structure right here. So we got some structure right there. We got a support level right here that might start to, okay, so this could be the reversal that we've been waiting for, guys. We have a lower low right here with the green candle. We'll see if this here starts to climb up. If it does climb up, there's a ton of liquidity sitting over here, right? We got all of these levels here for price to come up and grab. Ideally, the first target I'm going to be looking for is for price to go back to open right here, right? Back to the opening price for New York. Well, there's two areas here. We have the London low for correction and the opening price. If price pushes back to this London low, then I think we're going to be back up for a bullish push. So yeah, if it pushes above here and it holds around this area, I think it's going to push up pretty high for correction. Well, I mean, it kind of depends. Looks like the volatility here is starting to flatten out a little bit, so maybe not, but I guess we'll see. It's got to hold above this level. If price pushes below here, it's going to invalidate this lower low, and it's no longer going to be that reversal pattern that we were looking for. But it's looking pretty good so far. We have a lower low here with the green candle. Price is breaking, retesting off the structure that I just identified right here as a support, possible floor. So we'll see if it holds and if it pushes up. Again, I have about an hour until my cutoff for my 10-minute entry here. So I'll be watching for it. We're getting buy signals over here for ES and for YM. So this might be the start for the push to the upside. Maybe. NQ is actually leading right now. So we have NQ and ES sort of leading in a sense. Not a lot, but you can see ES over here has some bigger green candles pushing up. NQ as well. Actually, gold is leading. So if you look over here at gold, it's starting to push above the pivots. So this is gold. It hasn't closed above it, but if it closes above here, this will be the leading asset pushing price right back up. This is not supposed to correlate with equities, but it obviously it is here a little bit slightly. Yeah, it looks like gold is actually leading for a correction because everything is bearish, so obviously all of these are going to correct at some point. All right, looks like price here is having trouble holding this level. Like I said, if it drops below this lower low right here, it's going to invalidate this lower low. It's no longer going to establish it as a floor. Well, what I can see here is it might consolidate right here for a bit, squeeze, and then just break out up. So I would say maybe expect a breakout candle to just spike up out of nowhere. There's no news today at around this time, so there's no catalyst to really push price. The only thing I can see happening here is if Trump starts to say something or if something happens, an update with the war, and then it causes price to really climb up higher, right? Otherwise, there's not much here. So let's see. It says Dow falls 600 points as oil prices resume their march higher. So I like that CNBC reported this because whenever they report something, price tends to do the opposite, right? Right now, they just reported that the Dow is down 600 points. I'm expecting some sort of push to the upside now. Um, this is just from experience. If you guys have been trading a certain asset for a while, you start to see these patterns, specifically with CNBC. When CNBC reports something, market tends to do the opposite. So now that it said that it's dropped 600 points, I think price is actually going to push up now. Might not be a full correction, but I do think price is going to push up a little bit. Okay, so we have a double reversal pattern right here. We have a lower low with the green candle. If this candle closes engulfing, this could be a double confirmation. So reversal to the upside, another reversal to the upside right there. This could be considered a double bottom in a sense, or a W pattern, whatever you guys like to call it. But we'll see. I mean, it has to hold. This candle has about 10 seconds left on it. If it doesn't hold and it pushes below, then it's going to invalidate this lower low, and it's no longer going to be a reversal pattern. Nope. So it's slightly held, like very, very slightly. It looks like if it pushes lower here, it's still going to invalidate that lower low, but it just pushed up at the last second. So not very much confidence here, at least not yet. What I would need to see here is that W pattern to complete, right? Or to finish off or continue. So we basically need to break out above this area right here and for it to hold. If it doesn't, this lower low can still be invalidated because there's no high yet. So since there's no high this here, if it pushes lower, there'll be a new lower low there. Yeah, Kenny said it's always your best week if you're following your strat. I know. So this week hasn't been bad. I mean, I haven't taken any losses. There just hasn't been very many opportunities because I'm trading on the 10 minutes, so it's not as it doesn't come up as often as it does as the one. So we're starting to get this nice push to the upside, guys. Like I said, if it holds above this area, if it pushes above here, it's probably going to push up. That W pattern that I just mentioned, a double bottom is playing through right there. So as long as this holds, I think price is going to push up. We have some nice confluences here. Like I said, we have a lower low, we have an engulfing candle there. As long as it holds, if it doesn't push past this level down here, or let me put the line back up. If it doesn't push past this area, then it's probably going to climb back up. If it pushes below here, though, different story. Then it's probably going to continue dropping. Let's see. John Jacob is asking how many strats you're using, which one is the most profitable? I mean, they're all profitable. There's no specific strat. I mean, there's a specific strategy that I'm using right now for my hedge fund clients. I'm using the 10-minute, and basically like it's similar to the strategy that we're using, but it's on a higher time frame because I have to use limit orders. Because for my hedge fund, I'm entering with a lot of volume, like 100, 200 contracts. It's almost impossible to get a good fill with market orders. For these 1 minutes, you have to get in with market or you're going to miss the move. So I mean, it just depends on like what you're looking for, right? Like Masij here, he has a bot. He created a bot to take all of my entries. So basically what Masij is doing, or what he's done here, is he's created a bot to take all of my 35 strategies and he just whatever comes up in the first 30 minutes of market open or 45 minutes of market open, he takes them. If he gets 3 wins, he's done. If he gets 2 losses, he's done. So for this week so far, he's only taken a couple trades. This was yesterday. He locked in 38,000 across his accounts right there. He only took 3 trades. The 3 trades he was taking was the lower low reversals, higher high reversals, and the MPS, which is what I marked up over here. So that's how much he locked in there. And then for today, this morning, this is how much he made 20,000. So I mean, there's a ton of strategies. It doesn't matter which one you use. You have to stick to one. Um, yeah. Masij has only had like a couple red days. I think maybe like maybe 3 red days this whole year. He's currently up, I think, 100, and these are all personal accounts. They're not prop accounts. They're like real money on TradeStation. So he's currently up about 9,000 times six, and he's scaled up already. So 9,000 times six. He's up basically 54,000 after the reset. So he was up 120,000 So this plus 120,000. So he's up pretty nice for the year so far. Those are across his accounts. So I mean, there's no direct answer for you, John. I mean, if that's what you're looking for a holy grail strategy, you're probably never going to find it, honestly. You have to like just stick to something that works and you have to use it consistently. It sounds like you're the type of person that likes to bounce from strategy to strategy when it doesn't work, right? Um, so, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of people. That's they bounce from group to group or strategy to strategy, trying to find that holy grail. All strategies work realistically as long as you use proper risk management, or if yeah, and if you're able to follow that strategy how it's supposed to be applied. Um, but yeah, all of my strategies, they're all working. I mean, Masij has been using it. There hasn't been one strategy that's been like losing. Like a lot of them are pretty on point. I think if you want something super easy and basic that like you don't have to do much thinking, it's really going to be the algo entry. So these algo entries which came up today, they have a set time, right? So you're not really doing any analysis. You're just waiting for the time to come up, and then you're making sure that the market's not choppy and that there's no flickering momentum, which is indicating reversal. So, I mean, there's one right here at 6:30. And for that one, it's usually like a once a day type thing, unless you want to take more. That strategy is currently up 7R for the day. So 6:30 over here, one, 6:56, one, 6:57, one, 6:59 loss, 6:20, 7:22, one. There's another one coming up right here at 7:56. I don't know if it's going to be an entry because the market's so choppy right here. So it's probably gonna be considered a no entry. Yeah, I mean, all these strategies are basically directional strategies. So there's there is there's just no direction. So I mean, there's nothing to take here. If you guys want to take an MPS or anything like that, there's nothing to take because there's no direction, right? We got a bearish trend, bearish momentum, but um there's no confirmation of directional move. We also don't have a buy signal here. Again, if you guys are looking to get into this 10-minute entry with me, I'm waiting for that buy signal to confirm that the momentum is flipped the other way. Until we get that, there's nothing here to really take. And I mean, there's really nothing here to take. Um, the buyers here can still hold. Let's see. John is asking, is the algo strat new? Not necessarily. I've been using it since last year. It's just I can't use this with a hedge fund right now because I'm still documenting it. So that I'm still documenting the trades because they work well with like profit counts and like if you're trading just like smaller volume, it works because you get in with market orders. But with the hedge fund accounts, I'm entering with so much volume that I can't get proper entry. So I have to use limit orders. But no, it's not new. I mean, I guess you could say it's new, but it's not really that new. Well, actually, no, it's not new because it's based off the momentum signal, and we've been using this. I've been using this for like 12 years now. It's just what I've done with the algo is I pulled quantitative data, so I know what the statistics are, right? Like if I enter this specific algo entry at 6:30 every single day for the past 20 trading days for basically the past 4 weeks, it has a 70% probability trading at a 1 to 2 risk reward has a profit factor of 5.944. So no, the strategy is not new. It's just the way that it's applied is in a sense new because we're using statistics now. Before we used to just trade the momentum, but now we're using statistics to know exactly what time to enter. So it's nothing new. It's the same as a breakout strategy. It's just we have specific times for it. Steven, I don't know what you're talking about, Steven. Steven said so enter at 5,100. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Steven. Are you talking about gold? Okay, because I see the numbers here. No, don't enter ever. No, I'm just kidding, Steven. I mean, you can enter whatever you want, but I don't see an entry there. I don't even. Where'd you get that number from? Like, is it just because of the whole number you thought, okay, I should get in at 51? because it hasn't closed above the pivots yet. And I don't even know if you're looking for a buy or a sell, but I mean, it's trying to push up. Again, gold is still leading right here. John said I actually joined a couple years back when I was in uni. I was full porting $100 account looking to get back into trading. Okay, yeah, no, definitely, John. So yeah, if that's the case, so I don't know if you're familiar with the breakout strategy. We have identified the breakout strategy this morning, right? 6:30. So 6:30, we had the breakout strategy, which came up right here. It was a full TP. So if you remember the breakout strategy, I don't know how far back you were in, but we've been applying this breakout strategy like since prior to COVID. So I think it's been like maybe 6 years or 7 years since we applied the breakout strategy. Basically, what the algo does is it identifies a breakout strategy by the minute, if that makes sense to you. So like for example, we would always trade this at 6:30, right? But instead of just trading at 6:30, we're basically applying the breakout strategy by the minute. So like every minute I pull up the data and I look for whatever has above a 60% probability. Obviously, not all trades are going to be 100%, but yes, so like with this here, instead of taking just 6:30, I'm looking at every single minute. So like 6:31, 6:32, 6:33, etc. If the criteria is met, then it meets my list of algo entries. So it's basically the breakout strategy by the minute, and it's based off quantitative data. It's not just, okay, I'm going to enter at 6:30 every day or 7 o'clock every day. It's like I look at the actual statistics here in the data, and I'm like, okay, what are the probabilities of it winning, right? What if I just bought, like, what if I was just buy and hold? This is the profitability I'd make if I just bought and hold at 6:30 every day. I'd make 5.59%. But if I was to take it with my algo, I actually be at 44%, right? The benchmarking here helps a lot to identify that. So yeah, if you remember the breakout strategy, just think the breakout strategy, but every minute. And I only look at it between 6:30 and 8 o'clock. Yeah. Now, if you've been here for a while, I mean, you kind of understand how I trade. We trade with direction, with momentum, etc. It's just I know you haven't been around for a while. I own and manage a hedge fund now. So like what my trading has changed quite a bit. I used to take a lot more riskier entries like the breakout, but I can't take those entries with the hedge fund because this is too risky. There's a lot of slippage. If I get caught up in a trade and I can't get out, it's really hard for me to take that risk because I'm entering the market with a lot of volume. It's not easy to just get out quickly. It's either I get out quickly and I have to pay, a premium to get out, or I get out at really bad exits or get in at really bad entries. Yeah, no, it's good to see you back here, John. So your name is so common that like there's so many Johns that have come and gone. So I probably don't remember you specifically, but if you message me on Telegram or something and I saw your username, I probably remember who you are. iPhone's asking you how come no bearish 10-minute entries? Because there's bearish momentum already. iPhone, there's no way for us to get another bearish momentum if we already have one there, right? That's why there's no bearish entry for the momentum because there's no momentum that can come up. The only momentum that can come up would be a buy signal. That's why I've been looking for the buys here. Let's see. Looks like we might get a signal come up soon. We're starting to get a pushback up right here. So we're getting a pushback up. If you guys remembered from earlier, I mentioned that there was a floor established right here. Price never invalidated this lower low, right? So we're starting to get a push up. It's doing exactly what I told you guys was going to happen, right? I said that W pattern was going to play out and it was going to push up, which is happening. It took a while for it to happen, but it's starting to push up here now. So we might get that buy signal come up closer to 8 o'clock. That's kind of where I'm seeing. It's 7:51 right now. Um, and we might see this here. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We gotta wait for it. But if I was to make an assumption, I think this buy signal, it's either gonna come up at the end of this candle or it's gonna come up later in the like maybe the next one after it. But yeah, we have a lot of room here for price to move up. We have liquidity to grab around this area. I mean, there's structure here that's hasn't been retested since it broke below. So my first target area is going to be the sessions right here. That's the London low. So this would be a correction back up to the mid range. So if you guys remember from this morning, let me go over here real quick to the clean chart. So you guys remember I drew this range here before market opened up, right? This is the pre-market range. If price pushes up, it may push up and pull back into this range there. So let me go over here real quick. Which strat are you talking about, Kenny? I'm curious now. Yeah, Kenny said there's that strat again. I know you talked about it yesterday, but I forget because you're like sometimes you mention multiple like different analyses and strats. Um, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know exactly. All right, anyways, we have the floor here established. We don't have like a range here established yet. We'll see if it holds. So if it ends up sitting within this area here, then I'll draw structure at this point. But right now we don't have that. So this here might just climb up further. It might be a slow climb to the upside, honestly. Slow climb to the upside. And I'm still waiting for this buy signal here to come up. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna grab some more water and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So yeah, price is still pushing up. And as it pushes up, it looks like we're still going to have that possibility of that 10-minute coming up with that buy signal. I think what we need here is we need price to probably close above the 300. Or no, it's a little high. Probably above the 250 right here. If price can hold above this area within the next 5 minutes, then I do think we may get a possible buy signal here. If we do get that buy signal, my entry is probably going to happen around the 200. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see if this here actually holds. So we'll see. All right. So let's see what we got over here. Right, so nice work over here, Harmony. So Harmony locked in some pretty good profit for the day as well. Solid. All right, no hold right here, guys. Price is still yeah, there's no hold. Price is coming back down. Looks like we're currently in a range again. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark up some structure here. We got a lot of structure here. So we went from that upper range, now this lower range. I was hoping it would hold so we get that buy signal, but it's not looking like it. Okay, so we got that right there. I'm gonna go to the clean chart, mark up some structure right here. All right, so no change. Price is kind of just sitting here. So unfortunately did not hold. I was hoping it'd push up. I mean, it completed that W pattern that I showed you guys, right? It's a small W pattern, nothing crazy, but the W pattern did complete right there. I don't trade patterns, but that's just what I see. You know, it just makes visualization purposes a lot more logical. It just gives you logic to like how the move here is playing out. But realistically, it hit the W pattern and then now it's ranging between these two structures. You're able to identify a structure now because we have a high point, low point. was hoping we get a push up higher so I get that buy entry for the 10 minute, but it's not looking like it. Unless we start to get like a really big bullish push here from like 8 o'clock to 8:30, I don't know if I'm going to have an entry for today, which is fine. I mean, this is just one of those days, we just don't have a directional push. I mean, it's better than having a loss, of course. Yeah, nothing here so far. Let's see. Kenny said momentum signal, MSS. Confirm break, most recent high low, place order at the recent high or swing high lows. We're at 50% mark. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that's what it was. Um, so basically I have a strategy similar to that. I call that the high low break and retest. So exactly what you just mentioned. You look for the swing up, break and retest of the structure, and then continuation. Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. Yeah, I think it's a good strategy. It's one I've used in the past a lot. I just don't really use it as much anymore, but the reason I like that strategy a lot is because I was able to use limit orders for it. I've always tried to find a way to incorporate limit orders, but it's really hard on the 1 minute. Yeah, it's just it moves too fast. Like a lot of times you'll try to get your order in, and by the time you put your limit order, it's already hit your target. Let's see. So we're sitting around the structure right here. Yeah, Kenny said the 33 candle, yeah, is key here. Yeah, so basically this whole support level is pretty key in my opinion. Because again, if price doesn't break past here and hold, it still hasn't invalidated this lower low, right? So the reversal pattern is still it's still in play, right? Until price pushes below this point, at the end of the day, this entry or this setup is still in play. So just keep that in mind, guys. So if you were to base it off the momentum right there, so momentum signal for a buy right there, lower lows where the stop's placed, target is about 1 to 2 away. Or if you want to do a 3R, you can do that as well. That'd be about 180. I mean, this stuff is just it aligns. So I'm using this as a confluence, not specifically for entry, but I'm using this as a confluence because it aligns with my 10-minute entry, right? I'm looking for a buy here. So if I can get this to push up higher, if I can follow it to push up higher, this can give me opportunity for my 10-minute to actually come up, right? The 10-minute here, I think this is the entry that came up previously. So for my algo over here, I've identified this 10-minute entry. This tends to hit at this point. I mean, it's not a very high probability of it winning, but it's pretty good for the most part. The 8 o'clock entry basically. Probabilities are about 34% for a year. It's about 259 trades. So we may get a buy signal here. If we do, this still gives us opportunity for entry. So we got price pushing up right there. This is the bigger move that I talked about. Still running at the moment. Um, I'm gonna take this off. I just wanted to kind of clean up a little bit so I can see things better. I mean, the key thing here is if it breaks above the breaks above this resistance structure, right? If it doesn't break above it, it's gonna be hard for it to really hold. Because what might happen here is it might just continue ranging within this area. It just may continue ranging. It's looking good so far. The lower low, engulfing, engulfing, price is pushing up, another engulfing right there. There's a lot of reversal patterns right here, but what's really key is if price breaks structure and holds, it's got to hold above here. Let's go to the 10-minute. Let me see if there's any other entries here that I could have maybe looked at. Steven said the 10-minute will come today, but at the end of our session. That's my prediction is earlier. Yeah, it could be the case, Steven. Be the case. And if you're right, you should go buy a lottery ticket. Because I think today's your lucky day. Let's see. So we got nothing here right now. Like I said, hopefully this entry comes up. We have about like 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes. We have actually 20 minutes for this buy signal to come up because my cutoff is 8:30. So if it doesn't come up by 8:30, then I'm done, unfortunately. The volume just died out. We had pretty consistent volume up until let's see about 7:30-ish, so about 30 minutes ago, and then the volume just pretty much flattened out, which is normal. If you guys have been trading with me for a while, 7:30 is usually where the volume starts to die out. That's why Masij he's cuts off his bot at 7:30 or 7:15. It used to be 7:30, but he realized how much the market dies out around that time, so he even made it tighter to 7:15. It's kind of similar to what I'm doing as well. Initially, this strategy would run until 10 o'clock, but I've cut it down to 8:30 because, again, looking at my probabilities, if you guys see how I identify and analyze things, I do everything based off the statistics, right? It's all based off the quantitative data for the most part. Here's Lena real quick. Lena's gonna say hi to you guys. Go, baby girl. So Lena's awake. As you guys know, it's her time at 8 o'clock. So, all right, baby girl. Waiting for your entry. Yeah, she's waiting. All right, so hopefully we get this entry up soon. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up in the next 20 minutes or so. Lila said the princess is in the building. Yep. Where's my trade? Where? Nothing's here yet, baby. We're waiting for this here to push up. Um, yeah, we got price. So it's breaking past this support level now, guys. The buys here are invalidated now. So initially we were looking for price to hold this lower low. Price is now pushed below it. And now there's no I don't know if we'll get a buy signal, honestly. Um, yeah, Lila said she's more animated as she gets older. I know she's super animated now, right? Before she would just sit there and just look at the screen. But now she wants to touch the keyboard, she wants to execute trades. She's ready to get this trading in. All right, guys. So unfortunately, no entry here so far. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Again, I'm just watching here for opportunities to kind of arise, which we don't have here yet. Um, yeah, we'll see. It's 8:05 right now, so we got until 8:30. Let's see. Let me get her. All right, girl. I'll see you in a little bit, gang. All right, so back to the charts here, guys. Let's see what else we got here. See what else we got over here. Mm, nothing. All right, let's see. So if you're looking for, I mean, there was an MPS that came up right here, guys. So if you guys are looking for an MPS again, we had a sell signal, price retrace, broken close below right here, below that momentum signal. This is another MPS V2. Um, not an MPS PA, but this is an MPS V2 right here that came up. So full TP right there for that MPS V2, or not, no, actually it's still running, no full TP yet. So if you want to keep trading this 1 minute chart, I mean, feel free, guys. There's entries that are coming up. Let me check that 756 entry. So no entry there at the 756. That was a flickering momentum because there was a momentum signal at that 756 candle. So, all right, looking over here at the algo entries for the day, guys, it actually hit pretty nicely. So it was a 7-hour day. It had 1, 2, 3, 4 wins and 1 loss. So again, if you guys want to stick to the algo entries, the algo entries are still hitting. So if you want to take all of them, you can take all of them. If you want to take one entry per day, you can take one entry per day. If you took one entry per day, it's been pretty much on fire this week. Monday, no trade. Tuesday, no trade. Wednesday, win. Today, win. Um, they've been the earlier trades though. So like yesterday was a 639. For this one, if you wanted to wait till the 656 and not the 630, you could have taken that one and still would have won. Um, last week, it's actually been on point too. So last week, Friday at 1, Thursday at 1, Wednesday at 1. Actually won every day last week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's been pretty on point. Yeah, February into March has actually been pretty good for the algo, it looks like. So, all right, we have nothing here. The MPS is about to hit full TP. There you go, full TP for 60 points if you guys jumped into that. Again, if you guys don't understand these strategies, just go to the website. If you guys are new here, just go down to the description if you're on the YouTube. Join the Discord. If you join the Discord, you'll have a link there to like kind of sign up for everything. If you guys, I think there's also another link there. It says, yeah, free trading education. If you click on that, it'll give you access to the course. And then the course will give you all the videos to all the strategies. If you guys have been on the YouTube, like the actual YouTube channel, unfortunately, I had to take all the videos down. But if you guys want to look at the previous videos, they're still there. You just have to know how to find them. So here's the YouTube channel. You guys will see there's no more videos here that are listed, right? I have like over like 5,000 videos, but you have to go to playlists. If you go to playlists here, you can still see the videos. You just can't see them on the main page. I talked about this over the past couple months. When I started the hedge fund, the regulators basically made me take everything down. I'm no longer able to share my strategies with the general public. However, you guys can still look at them. You just have to look at them through the course, which they're listed. And if you guys don't know what it looks like, let me just show you real quick. I know because there's some new people here that are not familiar with it. But if you want to look at the course is free. It's just if you want to have access to my tools, then that's something you have to pay for. But I don't gatekeep my strategies. My strategies are all available for you guys. This is what the course looks like. If you guys sign up to the free course, this is what it would look like. It gives you basically all of my indicators, all my tools, all my directional strategies, all my sideways strategies, all my breakout strategies. So these are like the more common ones that we've applied over the years. If you go down further, I have a legacy course where I've been trading for like 15 years. So if you go down here, there's even more strategies to look at. You just have to look deeper and deeper. Like if you go down to the scalping strategies, these are like the old ones that like I think Harmony was mentioning earlier, the snipe strategy. I don't teach this anymore, but if you want to see my older strategies, they're still there. So, all right, we got price dropping down lower. Again, we don't have a buy signal here, so I don't think we're going to get an entry here on the 10-minute, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get an entry here on the 10-minute. I was hoping we would, but I'm actually glad we didn't because if we got a buy signal over here on the 630 and the 650 candle, we would have been pretty screwed, right? Because this thing didn't come up at all. So I'm glad our buy signal actually never came up because this prevented us from getting basically destroyed in this market. I do think a correction is going to happen eventually. It might not happen today. It might not happen right now, but I think eventually there is going to be a correction. I think price is just overextended. The all-time highs were around 50,000. So if we look over here on the higher time frame, let me just go to the clean chart. So this is a 1 minute, but if you go to the 10-minute here, you guys can see it's been dropping lately. Um, but if we go on the higher time frames, like the 4 hour, you can see price has kind of been coming down for a bit. All-time highs around here, 50,000. So like I said, the target area for price to probably reach to is going to be 47,000 and then maybe right back up. One thing as well, so Jesus, I think you're the only person that was kind of talking about that strategy that I was mentioning earlier, the riskier one. So like basically let's just go over here to the 10-minute. I'll kind of show you how it would have worked. So like for example, it's been dumping for a while, right? Or let's go to our main chart. Okay, so right here it's been dumping for a while, right? So like I said, every time you get a red candle, you would just enter for a sell signal, or not a sell signal, like a one contract for a sell. So you'd enter right here for a sell, and then you go into some pretty heavy drawdown. But then again, once another sell signal came up, you'd enter for a sell right there, and then you enter for a sell right there, and then you enter for a sell right there, and you enter for a sell right there, and then you enter for another sell right here. You pretty much keep doing this, enter for sells, and you keep stacking the sells until you get closer to like 10 o'clock. As price drops lower, your positioning just averages in, right? So like for example, you enter there, you enter there, you enter there, you enter there, and it just keeps averaging in a little bit because you're entering from here, you're just adding another contract, but it doesn't enter you from there. It actually averages your position. So like technically your entry would probably be like right here with about one, two, three, four, five, six, seven contracts. So you think about seven contracts and you're currently up like maybe 200 points or 220 points. And this would be the floating profit right now. So seven times five times 220, you being profit about 7,700 right now. So see how that adds up? It adds up pretty nicely. I've been testing it. I've been like what I've been doing is I've been going to the replay and I just put like a random day and then I just kind of test it because you can test it on here. Let me see if I could. I probably can't because I'm logged into my Tradeovate right now. But yeah, basically if you open a paper account, you can just go back to like 6:30 and just test it like inner cells, write it down lower, 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 lower. There's gonna be some days where it's choppy and you're gonna get kind of screwed. Like it's gonna be pretty easy to blow your account on days like that, but most days it's gonna be moving somewhat directional like this. So you should be able to lock in enough profits. And again, I don't think this would work with Apex because they don't let you, or maybe they do now, but in the past they didn't let you dollar cost average into your position. So it might trigger some violations. It just kind of depends on like what their criteria is. But yeah, I mean that's basically how the strategy would work. It's pretty intuitive. I think, if you were to apply a strategy like that, I would do it on like a straight to funded type of account with like no consistency and then just keep churning it, right? I mean, like make your profits, make your profits, make your profits, get your payout. Eventually the account's going to blow because it's not always going to be directional like this. And then you just keep rinse and repeating the process basically. So I'm probably going to look into some prop accounts where there's no consistency rule and it's straight to funded, and then I'll just churn it out, right? I'll just churn it out, make some profits, get the payout, and then burn the account, and then keep doing it over and over again. That'll be at some point in the future, not right now, because I just don't have time for it, and I don't have the accounts for it right now. I don't want to burn my current accounts. Um, maybe I'll do it with like one of my Apex accounts. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do it with one of my Apex accounts, and then just kind of like see if they flag me or not. All right, so it's 8:15 right now, guys. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Still no buy signal, so I don't think we're gonna get an entry there. Daniel got that MPS, so he's done for the day. Nice work, Daniel. Yeah, there's nothing here so far. This MPS was actually pretty good because it lined up with similar to an MPS PA pattern, not exactly, but close to it. Yeah, it would have been nice. All right, guys, 8:15 with no push to the upside. So with no push to the upside, I'm not expecting a buy signal to come up in the next 10 minutes, right? I mean, I could be wrong, right? We could, in the next 5 minutes, this thing just might start to push up super heavily and we might get that buy signal, but realistically, I'm not expecting this to push up. Not in the least bit, not enough for it to provide a buy signal. If you guys want to keep trading this will probably eventually give a buy signal though. So if you want to do what I initially did prior, if you trade till 10, I do think eventually this thing's going to flatten out and it's going to start climbing up for correction, right? And when it does climb up for correction, it's got all of these areas of liquidity to retest, right? This lower high, this lower high, this higher high. So if you think about it, if you try to get in at some point later in the future, like in the next, I guess, hour, 2 hours from now, you still have liquidity here for price to grab. So the buys are still valid. It's just how long are you willing to wait for that to happen? There's no guarantee it's going to happen. You could be waiting all day, and it might not even come up. But again, if you are looking for that entry, see, I just drew up liquidity right there. There's a bunch of liquidity for price to come up and grab, which it hasn't came up to yet. I was hoping this was going to happen for today. So what I was looking for is I was like, okay, price is coming down here. I'm gonna look for it to flip back up, and then I can get my entry at this point and then ride this up, right? But obviously that wasn't the case here today. Price has been dumping and it's been dumping further and further as we speak. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Looks like majority of you guys are here are pretty much done trading already. It looks like half of the group is left already. They've made their profits and they've wrapped it up. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm looking for entries here, but unfortunately, there is just nothing here for me to take. And yeah, I'm not expecting this turnaround to happen anytime soon. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, this thing is not coming. It's just dropping further as we speak. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I really don't think this is going to come up, so I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. Let's go back to that 1 minute. So there's more MPS continuations here. So price came up, retraced, came back down right here. This is another MPS V2 continuation lower. Currently still running. We had a support level right here. So we got a support level right there. Let's see, price is breaking, retesting the support level. All right, yeah, it's 820. It is 820. The next candle is going to be 830, and I'm not expecting there to be a reversal in the next 10 minutes. I mean, there could be. There could be, but let's check the news real quick. Any updates? So a new update right here says so Iran hits or Israel hit the Tehran security sites, and then Iran struck back and hit Dubai and Qatar. Like it seems like in a sense, like Iran's like they're kind of just bombing everybody at this point. They don't really care anymore. I mean, they're gonna go down eventually. It's a matter of time until it happens. Let's see if there's anything else over here. Yeah, there's no breaking news. So I was just looking to see if there's breaking news that caused some volatility in the market. Not really. It's just a continuation of what's been happening. Oil prices are obviously going up higher, so let's check the overall assets again. So gold actually never made the correction. I mean, it did slightly made the correction up right here at 750, and then it came right back down. If you look overall, everything's still bearish. Gold is bearish, ES is bearish. It attempted to make the swing up right here too, but it didn't actually hold. The only thing that stayed consistent was YM. So there's a couple fake outs over here. NQ tried to fake out to the upside. ES tried to fake out to the upside. Same with gold, try to fake out to the upside. It all failed. YM is the one that actually never faked out to the upside. It's been holding below the pivots pretty much all day. Let's see. Danio said took an L earlier, but still green on the week. Still hopeful for a reversal. Trying to decide whether to walk away for the day or wait it out. I know that's the hardest part, right? It's really and when if you start to get that feeling, it's time to walk away, right? If you get that feeling where you're like, oh, do I want to wait or do I want to walk away? If you have to think about it, you're better off walking away because at that point you start to get your emotions involved. You start to you start to look for things that aren't actually there, right? I think that's like the biggest problem for a lot of people. It's like if you got to think whether you want to trade or not, just don't trade because you have to be all in or all out in a sense. You have to be all in to like being there to analyze, be ready for the moves, take them. If you're on the fence where you're like, oh, I'm done trading or I want to sit and wait, at that point, that's where the FOMO starts to kick in. That's where the emotions start to kick in. And that's like, it's just a recipe for failure, honestly. It's happened to me so many times where, and this has happened to you guys, watch, like we get off at 8 o'clock, right? But you want to trade, so you come back to your computer. This used to happen to me a lot in the past where I'm like, all right, I'm done. And then you step away and then you're like on board. So you come back to your computer and then you try to take a trade like after the live session. And then you end up taking losses and you want to make it right back. So you take another loss and then you take another loss. And then by the next day, you're like you've eaten up all of your trailing drawdown or you've blown your account. Like it's the worst feeling, guys. It's the worst feeling when you could have just had a day with no trades or with a small loss, and then you ended up snowballing that into like a bigger loss or even blown account. So for me, when I get off the computer, I'm like done, done. I don't come back at all. I shut down my laptop, I shut down everything so I can't come back on. Yeah, Kenny said if you're hopeful for the market to do something, then walk away. I agree with you 1000%. It's like it, if you think that way, it's never going to work out in your favor, guys. Trust me. You might get lucky. It's happened to me before where I've gotten lucky, like I've almost blown an account, and then I'm like, I want to get that back, and I trade for like maybe another 30 minutes or an hour, and I make it right back, and then I take one more trade to keep pushing it, and I end up blowing the account. It's a it's a horrible cycle to be in. Yeah, Lila said exactly. That's why no one attempted to start a war with them. Oh, she's talking about Iran. Walk away, but I'm $50 away from my daily goal. So you're almost at 1,000, huh, Lila? Yeah, Steven said I still have that strange feeling we will get that buy entry at the end. Yeah, I mean, technically, if you want to hold on until the end, Steven, the end is technically 10 o'clock. The strategy is supposed to run until 10. But for me, I cut off at 8:30 now. So yeah, there's a strong possibility that eventually, because you still have an hour and a half to trade or to look for that entry. So if you want to wait that long, this could start to flatten out. So this is what I can maybe see happen. Let me zoom a little bit. So this is what might happen and what usually happens. We start to get market to flatten out around this area. So say, for example, we're at this lower low, it establishes a floor, and then this thing might just go flat for a bit, and then eventually it's going to turn the other way and then grab liquidity, right? Because the thing is, there's still a lot of space here. This is a 600 point correction, right? The Dow is currently down. It's down 800 points. So I'm expecting a correction here, guys. There's no way this market's going to close at negative 800 for the day. It's probably going to push up maybe 300 points. I could see the market closing at negative 500, maybe negative 600, but I don't see it holding below negative. And let me see, let's check to see what's actually weighing it down right now. So let me see. I'm gonna look at the list of the stocks in the Dow 30. Because let's be realistic here. This thing can't jump, it can't drop forever. We're not in a market crash, right? Okay, so Goldman Sachs is down, and the reason for that is because they're holding a lot of oil stocks, right? I don't know why Caterpillar's down so much. Like, what the hell is going on with Caterpillar today? They're down 20 points. I don't know what's going on with Caterpillar. Or I guess, yeah, because I don't know if they have like a stake in oil or whatever. Basically, all the stocks that are really red right now, it's because they have a big stake in oil, and oil's so expensive that they're taking they're taking a beating right now. Like Goldman Sachs, of course, they're taking a beating right now because they're heavily invested in oil. And the thing is, oil is going to keep the price is going to go up, so it's going to affect their long-term investment. So. I mean, Goldman Sachs is the main thing that's holding them down for the most part. Caterpillar as well. Amgen slightly. Sherman Williams. These are the main companies that are kind of holding down the Dow right now. Honeywell, Home Depot, Johnson and Johnson, Travelers, Boeing. I could see Boeing because oil prices. But a lot of these other ones, I just don't really see much. I mean, you can see that this is the main one that's holding them down, really. It's going to be something like, or Walmart's actually the lowest right now. They're down 4%. But point wise, these are like these are what's dragging US 30 or the Dow 30 down right now. It's five companies. So yeah, I do see a correction probably happening at some point. I don't know when, I don't know where, but eventually it's probably going to happen because I just don't see him closing at 800 points negative for the day. And we're still early in the session. So like, and right here, you can see it's starting to kind of push up. Let me go check real quick. It's starting to push up as we speak. So right here, I could expect this to push up maybe 300 points. So it might push up a little bit and then end up closing around here. So this is like a moderate analysis of it. So if we do get a correction, it's going to push up to here probably. Because I just don't see it dropping or staying below 800 points if there's no catalyst. Like if there's something crazy happen, like if we get bombed here in the US or something like that, then okay, we could maybe have some sort of catalyst. Like, okay, price is going to crash and it's going to stay below for a bit. But there's not really much of a catalyst there. It's really just oil prices are going up. And then obviously Goldman Sachs has a big stake in oil. So it's super negative. But yeah, we'll see. All right, yeah, Dania said you're right. I'm gonna call it better live to fight another day than tilt. Yeah, don't tilt, bro. No, don't tilt on a day like this. Um, I feel like this market could really screw someone because I'm sure some people are trying to chase it and some people are trying to buy the dip, right? So I think, like I said, this is probably gonna stay flat for a bit. It might even drop further. If it drops further, I'm expecting. So if there's a correction, guys, I'm expecting the correction to happen around like the 48,000 price point, or no, even higher than that. So like maybe around here. This is where I'm expecting the correction to happen. Like it'll push up to here at some point. I don't know when, but at some point today, it's probably gonna push up and close there so that we can close at like a negative 500 maybe. Yeah, like I said, 800 is too much. I think 500 would make sense. Close red. But there's gonna be people looking to buy the dip. There just always is. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. It's 8:30. Unfortunately, my 10-minute entry did not come up for today. For this week so far, we're currently at one win. Two losses for the 10-minute entry, so we're at break even for this week so far. I didn't take any trades, so I'm glad I didn't take anything. I don't have to pay in commissions. Either way, I'd be at break even for the week if I took every entry this week. Um, we got one more day tomorrow. We'll see if we get an entry. If we don't, it's fine. If we do, great. But the 1 minute has been hitting. So if you guys have been trading the 1 minute, a lot of entries for today. We had the breakout hit full TP. We did the algo entry hit for today as well. A couple MPS entries over here, some high-low break and retest, some high-low break, just high-low scalp entries. But yeah, for the algo today, the algo was up 7R. So it won at 8, it won at 630, won at 656, lost at 659, won at 657, and one at 722. So 1, 2, 3, 4 wins and one loss. If you took one trade for the day, you would have had your one win for the day on the algo. If you took the 630, 656, that one also won too. So, all right, guys, that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, just wrap it up for the day, guys. Come back tomorrow fresh and close out this week strong. But all right, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here